might be wondering why I got all these coats on. It's because we're going to Antarctica, boys. So as you know, I'm going to Antarctica. Getting there is a bit unconventional and isn't a very linear process. To get there, you first have to fly to Argentina, and then you will have to fly to the cruise location inside Argentina. And once you are there, you will finally aboard the cruise that will take you to Antarctica. The flight to Argentina costs about $4,500. The flight from Argentina to the cruise is about $750, and we haven't even paid for our stay on the ice cap, which is about $15,000. This is where our flight to Argentina comes in. I've carefully picked United Airlines as the company who will fly me to Argentina. As we all know, United Airlines physically assaults their passengers. So to increase my budget, I got beat up and sued United Airlines. I won the case and got them to pay the expenses for my trip. So now I am back on my trip with some bruises and a whole lot of money. Please, United Airlines, don't hurt me. But before we do all the exciting stuff on the trip, we'll need to plan it out. So what do I need for this trip? Since I'm going to Antarctica, I will obviously need some layers. I will bring some jackets like the ones I had on earlier. And next, I'll need to bring food. Canned food will most likely be the best option since they don't have much fresh food in Antarctica. The last thing I'll need is a fresh Rolex to tell the time. Since I have all my supplies now, it's time for the passport. I'll go to the post office and receive my passport, and after I get it, we can finally go back on our journey. Since United Airlines is paying for my trip, I bought the most expensive cruise they had to offer. When I boarded the cruise, I was amazed by the sheer size of the ship, but I soon got over it. It took a couple days for us to reach Antarctica, but when we did, it was amazing. Unfortunately, this view might not be here for much longer, so let me tell you why.
President Trump said recently that no one knows whether climate change is real, but he's keeping an open mind. Well, Mark Phillips has something to consider from the bottom of the world. He's in Antarctica for our Climate Diaries.
High summer in Antarctica. An explosion of light when the deep freezer warms up to become just a refrigerator. And an explosion of scientific research when the Antarctic reveals the secrets that have been locked in its ice.
Is something going on?
Yeah, something's obviously going on. It's very clear.
Ken Taylor runs one of the continent's most ambitious ice research projects. And what's going on is the huge crack that's opened up in one of the floating ice shelves that cling to the coast here.
There's a large berg about to break off of the Larsen Sea ice shelves. This berg...
You say large berg, it's the size of
the
Delaware.
The size of Delaware, yes, it's very large. And the fracture that is breaking off is expanding quite a bit, like it jumps about a mile every week or so.
It's not the ice from the ice shelf that is worrying. More Antarctic ice flowing into the sea would increase the threat to low-lying coastal areas around the world, including in the United States.
And there are several spots around Antarctica that are believed to be in this irreversible situation where the ice on the ground is going to flow into the sea, and there's nothing we can do to stop it at this point.
Eric Guth is part of a scientific study that is proving that Antarctic ice is on the move.
So this here is the object of your affection together.
Absolutely.
He's part of the Extreme Ice Survey that uses time-lapse photography to document what's happening. Images snapped every hour, then strung together, show how quickly the glaciers are flowing. These pictures aren't just useful for science, they have another purpose.
Much of the general public are visual learners, as am I, and I think being able to see that with your own eyes is a very compelling way of communicating information.
Arguments over the causes of climate change may be raging again at home. Here, suggestions of a hoax come up against some cold, hard facts.
That one.
Ken Taylor, the ice scientist, normally drills miles deep into the ice cap for answers. Sometimes, though, they're floating all around you. Bubbles trapped in the ice contain the air that was around tens of thousands of years ago when the ice froze. And that air contained a fraction of the warming greenhouse gases the human race is now pumping into the atmosphere.
You break this open and smell that air, you're smelling ancient air. It's really good air. It's like air before humans messed up the atmosphere. Yeah.
Smells like ice. And there's another kind of chill down here, Scott, a chill in the scientific community, a fear that the funding it needs will be harder to come by in the future, and that there's a less sympathetic ear in government for the kinds of science they do.
Mark Phillips for our Climate Diaries Down Under. Thanks.
Antarctica and other frigid regions are in serious jeopardy. Climate change in the Antarctic is often neglected when people talk about this issue. As you can see with this illustration, the Antarctic Pole is one of the fastest warming regions in the world. The water levels grow each year by about 1.5 to 2 milliliters each year, which may seem very tiny but can have catastrophic effects. Although this seems grim, there are several ways to impede this rapid climate change. Reducing the emissions of greenhouse gases can greatly impede climate change. In conclusion, my trip to Antarctica was very beautiful and exciting. It was also very expensive, but I took care of that. In all seriousness, my vacation might not be possible for other people to experience in the future if we don't act on climate change immediately and as a whole. Thanks for watching.